Good afternoon. I gotta hold the phone in my hand because up on the holder it gets too hot. And I start flipping out. But I got a question. How has Jesus helped you in your own lives? You know, for one, this is the third time I'm trying this. Every time I put the phone up in the holder, it flips out. But I look back at 55 years old, all the things I've seen and done. I mean, well, let me go back a little further. My mother's mother and her family were all part of the First Spiritualist Church up in Willimantic, Connecticut. They thought they were going to have the whole family. Well, God said, "You want to bet?" She met my father in the 70s. We bought my grandparents' place and started going to Chaplain Congregational Church. We had an awesome minister. Then she got saved and got baptized. So, and we set up, Saints' plans went boom with more than a force of dynamite. But I look back to what I was originally saying. I look back and everything I've done since I was a kid, all the way up. I put a single hatchet in my right leg when I was a little kid. Hey, I cleaned it up. I mean, now I look back at it, it's funny. I mean, I put Band-Aids on it. I did a whole enchilada. I had no idea what stitches was. I found out that day. Took 14 stitches. I look at back, I was by the car in 82. I took 100 stitches in my head. And after that, I never thought I was going to live to see 21 or be a father. So when I turned 18, I just became basically a wild child. I got into booze quite a bit. I mean, that became my constant normal. Even in high school, honestly, even back before that I was in high school, I was getting into it. Freshman year of high school, I was getting into it. I got off the booze and got into acid a little bit. Actually, quite a bit, but that didn't last long. And I traded that for an entirely different addiction that lasted quite a while, which I'm not going to get into. But you know what? Everything I've seen, done, went through, the only way I came out of it unscathed is because of God. Then I look at Montana and Cody. Cody was the homecoming king. He's got pictures on Facebook. And he used his looks to his advantage. Don't ask me how he got his looks, because I'll never understand that one. Sorry, people, just ain't happening. Because I've never figured out how my personal opinion, two ugly people created such great looking kids. Nope. And I'm not talking about Lori either. I'm talking about my ex. Then he got burned in a fire. Totally engulfed in flames, made it, had the smarts to go all the way from the basement all the way to you got basement, living room, kitchen floor, bedroom floor. All the way up there. engulfed in flames, where Montana grabbed him and threw him in a bathtub, burning his own hand, and put him out and flew him onto the hospital. And there's a whole point to this, by the way. And then I look at what Montana went through in the military. Because if you remember, I made a comment the other day about 2018 with him coming home from his deployment. In 2018, he did what he was trained to do. Remember, he's a cop in the military. But I just look at everything. And him and I were texting today, and he said the reason why he became a firefighter is because of that fire with him and Cody. That's like, really? I already knew that. And Lori, I was telling Lori everything we were texting, and she said that one of the best things he did was he was forced to win the Navy. His biological mother pushed it, which I'm glad he needed it. But I look at everything between me and the kids now, and it's like, I was a lousy father. I mean, I honestly was. I almost blew that right out of the water. Now Montana and I text all the time. I text Cody every morning. He doesn't look at him. He responds once in a blue moon. He doesn't even talk to anybody, I guess. He's got issues he's got to deal with. Don't include me. He's got issues with his biological mother. I hope and pray they get resolved. I forgot when this might be a long video. But I look at it all. I mean, I've seen things that are beyond disgusting. I remember when I was 18, I've been married multiple times. Not a fun, proud fact of mine. I split with my first ex-wife, and I don't remember how it happened, but I ended up living out in Indiana. I remember bits and pieces as I'm thinking about it. But my dad with mom had split up shortly thereafter, and he was back at his town in Pennsylvania, and he came and picked me up, and I can remember coming back across the interstate, and there was I know they politically don't want you to say what it was. There was someone laying on the side of the road. You can put two and two together. And they're just walking over to that person like it wasn't even there. It's disgusting. And I don't remember a heck of a lot of the last, 40 years or whatever. But that one's always stuck in my mind. But I look at everything from A to Z up till now. And it's only by the grace of God. I mean, I look at Lori. When I first met, Lori and I first got together, talking about God was not going to happen. No way, no. I'll explain that. She was a daddy's girl, from the word go. Big time. I mean, I call her father Dad. His real name was Joe. Back when she was a kid, he had 2 court dates, same day, different times. One was a divorce from her mother. The other one was for custody of her. He only went to 1 court date. Nobody ever knew the truth until 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He never went to the divorce hearing. He went to the custody hearing got that done with and walked right back out of the courthouse. She was a massive daddy's girl. And back in '93, he went to the doctors, got a clean bill of health. Oh, he was perfect shape according to the doctor. 24 hours later, he was dead. She says his heart blew up in his chest. So her and God had for years were not up. She was not, no. And I don't even know whatever. Honestly, I don't even remember how it even, what changed and how it changed. But because it's been quite a while now. Her and God they talk every day. She talks to God, I swear, constantly. And I'm getting there slowly but surely. And I look at what she's going through with the fibromyalgia, the RA, the vulvar cancer, which was stage 1 surgery, and I was done with. I just look at everything. I mean, I'm looking at me breaking my collarbone playing football with two of the kids. I was running too fast and tripped over my own feet. Hollywood can't make that one up, it's true. When years, I bet it's out of 10 years, then I had to have surgery on it, and come to find out everything was in my shoulder was a total mess. I mean, you name it, it was wrong. I'm accident prone. But I think about it it's like, you know what? The only reason I'm here at 55 years old to get kids and grandkids and an awesome better half. It's because of God. My short-sightedness having faith back in the day was, yeah, not too bright. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to be 21 or be a father. I didn't have enough brains to use out of faith. I mean, I had a truck accident in '91 in East Colorado. I've got the picture of the truck. I'm in the road. I've got the pictures of all of it. If you look at like a farm or something, they got them green T-poles. That truck would have flipped. That T-pole and I were going to collide. Very likely head first. But I look at everything, and what brought me to this point is I've thought about doing this off and on for a while. And today I was talking to Montana. Give me a minute. I'm going to pull up this conversation. Not all of it. He sent me a message today. I feel God's presence in my life now more than ever. And as I was getting ready to type him, Lauren, she said what I was thinking. I said, that's awesome. It's because you're getting closer to him. I feel like I'm on the path he wants me on. I said, that's how you know. And he's talking about because of the fire that they went through a week ago this past Friday. That family might have been through similar trials. Theirs is worse, but still. And I told him God has a reason for everything, and out of it his life, glory will shine. And I told him it already is in you. Someone hit the Kia, which is one of the cars they've got. He bought it when he was in Bahrain. Or maybe no, he bought it for Bahrain, paid it off in Bahrain. by chance we asked State Farm, their insurance company, that we could change who does the work. The shop we chose is out of the network, so they cut us a check. We were thinking the Kia is junky anyway, so we'll just keep the money. It came in the mail yesterday, which is the same day our union president put out they're collecting donations for the family. So him and his wife said, he said, we decided to pass the check off to the family. Some may call it coincidence, I call it his plan. And anyways, I became a firefighter because of what happened to Cody. Now I have a reason and reminder to be the best firefighter I can be. I wrote you love and speechless. Old Tarp did. And then one of the smaller things. But you see, and he was the one I told him, he was the one I was actually worried about the most because he was like me. At 18, he was drunk more often than not. So him going and being pushed in the Navy was, my ex and I we barely even talk. We're cordial. She's ironically friends with Lori on Facebook. Don't ask, I've never understood that one. Never will. But her and I just don't. I think from a good portion of reasons, we had a messy divorce. And after the divorce, she was spreading some lies and even told the boys, and we're like, come to find out, yep, you want to lie a little more? So we're cordial. But we just, I don't know. We don't talk very much. Once a year maybe. But I look at something about everything I just said and we may have short-sightedness. I did. Please, I'll be the person with that one. We can mess up and screw up some ways from Sunday. I did. I'm the first one with that one. But you know what? God's just patiently waiting for us to say enough is enough. Turn everything back to Him and say, "Here, you take the reins." You know, there's a license. I don't even know if anybody still has them anymore. It says, it's blue and white. It says, "God is my co-pilot." No, God is not my co-pilot. God is my pilot. Because in my own life, if He wasn't the pilot, let's put it this way, you wouldn't be watching this video. Then I look at when Lori went to have that ultrasound done of her heart. You guys probably know better than I do, because I remember putting up a few weeks ago, and they wanted to see a doctor sooner than later. Because the EV stuff, Holly up in Canada knows what I'm talking about. She explained it better than I can, and I still ain't figured it out. So she saw one of them. They put her on a beta blocker. Now you're going to realize Lori's feet, she's had stents put in, where she got 4? I think. 3 or 4 stents put in her. Because she had her big arteries. All in her stomach area. None in her heart. And she'd been stressing out because they wanted her to do the stress test. Because she's hard to something about her dad. So she's been worried about that one. Her dad was in his 40s when he passed away. So she was rightfully, I can understand why she was stressed and worried. And I kept telling her, It's not. There's no blockages. They put on beta blockers. Now her feet were always cold. I mean, they were cold. They put on beta blockers. Her feet temp, I know this is weird. Actually warmed up to normal temps. So, but my point on that is she was worried about blockages, and I started reading results, and y'all know me, I'm going to research everything. Then I finally read the bottom part, which would have saved me a lot of research. Findings, normal. If I'd have read that, I wouldn't have had to research. But they did put on she was on lisinopril, and they told her to stop taking lisinopril, and they put her on a different one. Which has helped, what I was researched that is going to help her with quite a few different things. Because her blood pressure's up. I mean, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm rabbit trailing. I'm not trying to. Good grief, 21 minutes. I've never talked this much. But we had to fight to get our diabetes back in check. And ironically, to my knowledge, last time I checked, according to even when she went for labs, but the Heart Institute, which is where the video was yesterday, they do her blood sugar, and one time it was way up there. The last time they did it was down to 130. We're doing something right. I know what it is, I'm not going to say, besides trusting in God. But my point, I guess, I'm trying to make, even though I probably rabbit trailed, is we can have shortcomings or short sightings. We may screw up. I know I did. But God's there waiting patiently. So how does Jesus help you? I mean, I'd like if you knew my track record, you'd understand it all. You really would. God's carried me through everything. I can honestly not think of a time in my life where he hasn't been the one carrying me through it. I just at times wasn't smart enough to figure that one out. So, excuse me. I mean, the prostate cancer alone, I didn't even know I had it when Lori and I went on vacation down in Louisiana a couple of years ago. Didn't even know I had cancer. No, I honestly never knew. It was only but grace of God, my doctor was actually checking numbers. Because I never felt it, never really felt bad at all. And when I said my PSA's levels were up, they said, "You want to see a urologist or you want to wait?" I said, "Well, I'm going to wait." And I started checking, and it's like, "Oh, I know what it is." And I was right. But something about by the time we started treatment, I was at stage 3. It had already started growing outside the prostate. But my point of that one is real simple. Laura and I were in Louisiana walking around New Orleans. And I've got cancer, didn't even know it. But God knew it. He had it all set up and orchestrated. And through that, I only had one day where I felt down, and that didn't last long. I can tell you exactly what I was doing when the doctor called me and told me I had it. I was driving up here to get soda. Mountain Dew to be exact. I went home, sat on the bed, told Lori, honestly, I cried like a baby. Her and our daughter Ashley held me. Me crying didn't last long. Got up the next day, started feeling sorry for myself, and that's when I heard that voice in my head from that Rocky movie. I swear to God, to this day, it's like you hearing my voice. I didn't hear no bell one more round. So even when we don't see God working, He's working. My hope in this video is it actually helps somebody along the way. That is my only hope. Because I was driving up here, and ironically I haven't had one order from Spark, which is right now supposed to be busy time, so me wondering things. But as I'm driving, I looked up at the sky and I said, you know, you're putting me way out of my comfort zone. And I looked at him and said, you know, I have no idea what to say. That's like when we first started changing this channel around. God will push you out of your comfort zone. He does that because He's going to make you grow. As long as you trust in Him, He's going to make you grow. Whether you may not like it, but He's going to make you grow. That may be feeling uncomfortable, like when I started doing Good Morning Text and everything else, like doing this video. Actually, I'm at peace doing this video. That's the weirdest thing. But on the way up here, I wasn't at peace with it. But now, I am. So just trusting God's always working to your benefit. No matter what. You may not even see it at the time. Sooner or later you will. Look back at your life and think, God was there. He carried you through it. He literally carried you through it. Because if He didn't, what would have been the outcome? But just remember that. Holly and Trevor. Don't ask me why I'm doing this, because I have no clue. God's got it all covered. And I don't need to tell either one of you not to lose faith, because I know both of you are not going to.